I never thought a single Instagram post could unravel the life I'd built. The morning my wife shared that selfie, I felt an icy knot form in my chest. There she was, radiant and laughing, arms around our 2 kids, and a man I'd only ever known as her work husband. The caption wasn't playful, it wasn't subtle. My real partner and lover. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. Trembling, I typed the only word I could manage. Congrats! Sleep came fitfully, haunted by flashes of their smiles, her laughter echoing through the corners of our home. By the next morning, the tension had taken a physical form. My phone buzzed, a call from HR at her office. Please come in. The message read, clipped and official. I knew then it wasn't just a private betrayal. It had spilled into the public, professional arena. When I arrived, the conference room smelled faintly of disinfectant and paper, a sterile battlefield for lives about to be upended. Sitting across from me was her, eyes wide but guarded, and beside her, the work husband and his wife. Their faces held the same rigid politeness you'd expect in corporate mediations, but I could see through the veneer, the tension, the fear, the inevitable collapse waiting just beneath. HR began with the facts, robotic and impersonal. Complaints, ambiguous lines of office decorum, whispers of impropriety. But I wasn't listening. My world had narrowed to her, to the smile and the selfie, to the words she had written with such ease. My real partner and lover. That phrase would haunt me forever. I wanted to scream, to ask why, to demand the truth from the woman who had promised forever. Her eyes met mine for the briefest moment. There was shame there, flickers of guilt, but also defiance, an unspoken admission that some part of her had already left me. I felt my throat tighten. The air felt thick enough to drown in. Across from her, the man's wife sat stiffly, hands clasped over a leather-bound notebook. I imagined betrayal she must feel, mirrored in my own chest. A symphony of heartbreak played fourfold in that fluorescent lit room. Words became heavy, almost meaningless. HR talked about professionalism, consequences, and mediation. I barely registered it. My mind replayed every quiet evening we had shared, every mundane argument that now seemed irrelevant against this tidal wave of deceit. I remembered the laughter of our children, so innocent, oblivious to the fracture in their parents' world. When the meeting ended, we left in silence. The elevator ride felt endless, every ding marking a heartbeat I no longer recognized. Outside, the city moved oblivious to the seismic shift in our lives. I wanted to run, to disappear, to reclaim the fragment of myself that had been quietly eroded by her betrayal. At home, the children greeted her as if nothing had changed. Their laughter, pure and untainted, was a cruel contrast to the chaos I carried. I wanted to tell them, to shield them, but the words lodged in my throat. She kissed their heads, oblivious to my silence, her smile still carrying the echoes of someone else's intimacy. I wandered our bedroom, my hands tracing the lines of a life I thought was mine. Photos on the walls, tokens of shared memories, felt suddenly alien. How could someone I loved so completely write herself into another person's story with such casual certainty? My anger was volcanic, my sorrow endless. And yet beneath it all was a quieter, more insidious pain, a gnawing doubt, a fear that perhaps I had been blind for years. She came to me that night tentative, searching for some wordless reconciliation. I stared at her, trying to map the distance between us, trying to find the woman I had once known. But the image of that caption, of her laughter with him, burned behind my eyes, a permanent scar. I didn't mean, she began. I shook my head. There were no words strong enough to stitch the wounds this betrayal had torn open. In the weeks that followed, our lives became a careful choreography of avoidance and tension. Dinner tables filled with strained politeness, whispered phone calls, and the constant, invisible question of whether this could ever be repaired. And yet, there were moments of unbearable longing, moments when I remembered the woman I married, before the boundaries blurred, before the betrayal. Those memories tormented me almost as much as the reality. I learned that betrayal is not a single act, but a series of choices, repeated and reinforced until the fabric of trust is unrecognizable. I learned that love, once fractured, can feel like a foreign country, And I learned that some wounds, no matter how deeply you bury them, leave a mark on your very soul. The selfie still exists in my mind, an unflinching testimony. My world shifted that morning, and though life moves forward, though children still laugh and the sun still rises, a part of me remains trapped in that fluorescent-lit conference room, facing the silent, unanswerable question: who do I love, and who has already left?